Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
I'm loving it.
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good week so far, and a good Tuesday in particular. Before the stream began, we had a birthday request. RJ Bansma says, "Hey, Scribe, can you guys sing Happy Birthday to my best friend Scott when he's here?" Well, you'll have to tell me if Scott is here, because I don't know. Is it Mr. Scott? Is there someone else? And thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Here's hoping you guys have a better night than I am. After using the facilities at my store, I pulled my shorts up to realize that someone had peed on the floor and now it's on my leg.
Oh,
Best
Wow.
PM ever. Oh, gross, dude.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Ew.
Yeah, I'd have to leave.
Oh, and we have I guess we're having a raid coming in.
That's nasty.
RJ, if you're there, is your friend Scott here? Because we don't want to sing if Scott isn't here. So you let us know if the Scott in particular is present, and then we will sing. But aside from that, how are you doing, Satsu?
Pretty good. Today was Squishy's day off, so we're hanging out with the little one today, and she's got a new thing again. It just started out of nowhere. Like we were chilling with her all day. She fell asleep, woke up, and learned a new ability. Yes, and it is slapping her leg repeatedly. And she does it to a rhythm, and she also mimics you the number of times that you do it. So if you slap your leg 3 times, she'll slap her leg 3 times. And if you do it 4 times, she'll do it 4 times. And then sometimes she'll do it 5 times to try to throw you off. I'm like, you little bastard. But it's super freaking adorable. I don't know where it came from or how she just randomly started doing this, but yeah, that's been a thing all day. And I do have video of it, so you guys will be able to see it. But she's so cute. Oh my god.
That's cool. And Monkey, how are you doing?
I'm Monkey. How you doing, Scribe?
Well, I'm fine. I went to work. I did work and came home and goofed off, and here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Woo!
All right.
It's Stunlock Joe's birthday.
X to doubt, Stunlock Joe was created in the lab.
Where did Stunlock Joe say it's their birthday? The Stargazer just says it's Stunlock Joe's birthday. So, is Stunlock Joe here?
I believe I just saw
There he is. It will be
There
a happy
he is.
birthday if we get Scribe beatboxing again, because it's the good bad.
Yeah, you beatboxed for his birthday last year.
Oh, that's right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd hate to break tradition.
As I did this morning, I'm going to tell people Stunlock's a much nicer guy than you might think from him being a jackass in our chat all the time. He's a really sweet guy, and I'm happy to do this one. Stunlock, this one's for you, my friend. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
This is unacceptable.
Happy birthday to you.
I think I said this last year.
Happy birthday, dear Stunlock.
It's good to know things never change.
Happy birthday to you.
What the fuck?
Happy birthday, Stunlock. I hope you had a great one. I really do, sir.
Can I just say, it sounds like somebody just stabbed Donald Duck to death.
It did. Like, that was his dying.
Anyway, thank you, Sinatra fans and friends, for rating us.
At that time.
Yes, at that time. So let's see. If someone can keep an eye out for RJ telling us when Scott is here, because I'll have different tabs open. But elsewise, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you have not already. And per tradition, because we like traditions around here, many of you have not. And please share our stuff. Tweet it out, Facebook it out, Instagram it out, Napster, Friendster, MySpace, LimeWire. I mean, I don't know what the hell the kids are using these days, but whatever it is. Yeah, there you go. Pornhub, just share it out there because YouTube sure as hell doesn't help us out with that. Thank you, Black Ops 686. Came here from Sinatra, says channel, and I sub. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks for coming by.
Check out my stuff. I've got a lot of it. You might enjoy it.
You subbed after that? Holy shit. All right, well. Yeah.
I'll take low standards over the lack of any at all. So all the neurons. Let's get our daily dose of impeachment out of the way, shall we?
Peaches.
So what do we have here? Let's see. I'll do the top couple of entries here because the first and shortest one is that a judge denies Lev Parnas's request to remove the GPS device to attend the impeachment trial because he's got an ankle bracelet because he's under indictment. It's like, no, you can't go. Sorry, dude. So poor.
He wasn't called.
Yeah, or he just wanted to be in the audience. Like, what was he expecting to have happen? Like, if I show up at the impeachment, can I get a couple of years sliced off of my sentence? Yeah. Let's see. Schumer says Democrats are, quote, absolutely feeling more confident about witnesses. Asked tonight on CNN if what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is saying about not having the votes to block witnesses is accurate, or if he is using a scare tactic to motivate his caucus. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said, quote, I think it's a little bit of each, unquote. Okay. On how confident he is that Republicans will join Democrats and he'll be able to push through a vote for witnesses, Schumer said, quote, I think it's up in the air, unquote, and, quote, an uphill fight, unquote. Quote, I wouldn't do any joy dances now, unquote, Schumer added. Schumer said that by his count, there are, quote, 10 to 12 Republicans who have never said a bad word about witnesses or documents who are know in their hearts it's the right thing to do, unquote. Okay. He continued, quote, but they have to weigh that against the pressure, the twisting of arms that Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell will put on them. So I think it's up in the air right now. Are we feeling better today than we did a few days ago? Absolutely, unquote. Okay, and then in counter to that, top Republican senator, quote, the momentum in our conference is clearly to moving to final judgment, unquote. Senator John Barrasso, the third-ranking Republican in the Senate and the chairman of the Senate Republican Conference, said Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is, quote, not right at all, unquote, when he says he believes there are 10 to 12 senators in the Republican Conference that could be open to voting for witnesses. Quote, the momentum in our conference is clearly to moving to final judgment, Barrasso said. On reports tonight that Mitch McConnell is saying that he doesn't have the votes to block witnesses, Barrasso said, quote, I think there are members who want to spend time, and we will 8 hours tomorrow and 8 hours the next day, unquote, listening to the question and answer sessions. That's a bit confusing, but anyway, thank you, tall person. Happy National Blueberry Pancake Day, everybody. I love blueberries.
Blueberry pancake. To you and yours.
I blame my blueberry appreciation to a radio commercial.
Okay. Do you like fresh blueberries?
I'll eat them, but I usually like blueberries in things like muffins and pancakes and stuff.
I don't like them fresh. I don't like them fresh. They taste weird.
Because years ago, many years ago, whenever my alarm clock would go off, it would turn on the radio, and it was one of those things where they had the same. It was almost like they had the ads timed to play the exact same ad every day at the same time. Because I'd wake up, and within a minute or two of the alarm going off, this ad council ad would play saying that dark-skinned fruit helps stave off dementia and Alzheimer's because of the antioxidants or something. And my grandfather died of complications of Alzheimer's. And I've always been a little bit paranoid about that because it says it skips a generation or something. So who knows? But ever since that ad came on, I just decided I'm going to start eating more blueberries when I have the opportunity. Now, again, this usually comes in the form of blueberry muffins, which is mostly muffin and not blueberry, but I like to pretend.
Blueberries.
Yeah, I like to pretend it's doing something good for me. Let's see. Moving on from that.
Well, before you move on to that, can I address the witness thing?
I suppose.
Quinnipiac, how do you say that?
Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac, the polling place.
Mm-hmm.
They put out a poll today that showed 75% of people want witnesses. Except that's not exactly what they put out or what the poll was. The poll was specifically asking, should witnesses be allowed to testify? Not should witnesses be called to testify. And those are two different things. Wait, hang on. Let me finish.
Okay.
Especially when only 57% of people say they're paying a lot of attention to the trial. For the rest of it, could vary, but should witnesses be allowed to testify? Well, sure, witnesses should be allowed to testify. Not necessarily the argument that's being had that witnesses must be allowed to testify right now. So, guys, when you see polls, because it's trending on Twitter, and that's actually what I woke up to this evening when I did like people talking about this, like, oh, calm down. Go read the polls, look at what's actually being said. Yes, 75% said they should be allowed to testify, but more than or almost half of them aren't even paying attention. So,
so there is one thing that I'm still a little fuzzy on. Maybe you know better, Monkey.
Sure.
If they do vote to allow witnesses, does that mean that anybody, either side of the equation, can subpoena whomever?
The way it's been discussed so far, if the what'll happen is each side will get to pick a witness, and if they go, wait, we need two, then each side will be allowed to pick two witnesses. They'll be able to call whoever they want, but if you call John Bolton, we're going to call Hunter Biden.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's the way, but that's not set in stone yet because they haven't even, really got to that point.
Do you think with that threat hanging over their heads of either Hunter Biden or Joe Biden or God knows, or the whistleblower or something coming up, do you think the Democrats are going to roll that dice?
I think they will. I think they got more to gain by bringing on, especially John Bolton. They desperately want John Bolton to testify.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Bolton and Mulvaney, they might roll the dice with that and go, okay, you get your two. They're probably going to try to object to it. Go to the Chief Justice and go, look, their witnesses are irrelevant. And they'll be like, sorry, it's their rules. This isn't the House anymore. You don't get to decide who gets to testify. And that's why they should have done this in the House.
Well, yeah, like I said last night, I'm still of the opinion that, it's the House's responsibility to bring the case to the Senate that they want to present and not try to supplement it after the fact with things that weren't there or they weren't able to achieve or they weren't willing to take the time to achieve prior. But yeah.
Well, that's another thing that could happen. I mean, they could try to limit it to who testified in the House. They could call Schiff.
Yeah, that's true.
That's been one that's been wanted. And somebody mentioned in chat a moment ago. So, yeah, but right now what's been talked about is that they'll do a tit for tat kind of witness thing if it happens.
All right. Well, we will find out. This all continues tomorrow, I believe.
Yes.
Because it'll keep going until it's done. Moving on from, remember that whole bombing in Iran thing that happened? Missiles hitting our allies or our resources or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah. So 50 U.S. service members diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries after Iranian missile strike. I had heard it was like 7 guys or something. Now they're saying 50. Thank you, Manic, for Dogcat Fox saying, hiya. Hello, Dogcat Fox, who lives with me on the moon, in my moon base.
You wish.
In Crater Valley, whose space marshal is Dirk McGuffin, who's always having to kick people out of Sir Adamantine's House of Celestial Sins. Because there's all this lore I've built up about what goes on the moon at my moon base.
Mm-hmm. You should talk about it more because I always
forget. I was bringing it up because I wanted to make sure I remembered it all. because there's little bits and pieces about it that I want to make sure. I got to write it down sometime. Maybe write a story about the adventures of Space Marshal Dirk McGuffin in Crater Valley. 50 U.S. military personnel have now been diagnosed with concussions and traumatic brain injuries following the Iranian missile attack on U.S. forces in Iraq earlier this month, according to a statement Tuesday from the Pentagon. That's an increase in 16 from late last week when the Pentagon said 34 cases had been diagnosed. Quote, as of today, 50 U.S. service members have been diagnosed with TBI, Pentagon spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Campbell said in the statement. Quote, of these 50, 31 total service members were treated in Iraq and returned to duty, including 15 of the additional service members who have been diagnosed since the previous report. 18 service members have been transported to Germany for further evaluation and treatment. This is an increase of one service member from the previous report. As previously reported, one service member had been transported to Kuwait and has since returned to duty, the statement added. So does concussion/traumatic brain injury equate to our troops being attacked by a foreign nation? Technically injured?
I would say technically yes, but not something we're going to go to war over.
Not actionable, yeah.
Unless they used fucking brain concussion missiles. I don't think so.
Yeah. Let's see. Although traumatic brain injuries are not always apparent immediately after they've been suffered, the disclosure of injured U.S. service members indicates that the impact of the attack was more serious than initial assessments indicated. Tuesday's announcement is the third time the Pentagon has updated the figures for the numbers injured. The Pentagon and President Donald Trump had initially said no service members were injured or killed in the January 8th Iranian missile attack because, as you said, the injuries are not always apparent immediately. I don't know if you're going to... I'm just waiting to see if you're going to frame this as them lying, because they weren't lying at the time. Let's see. Last week, Trump said he does not consider potential brain injuries to be as serious as physical combat wounds. Oh, I missed that part. Downplaying the severity of the injuries suffered in Iraq. Brain injury is a physical combat wound. I don't know what to tell you. Your brain has been your brain has been injured by a missile striking a military base. That's a combat wound. Might not be, a cut or a bruise or a missing limb or something, but anyway.
And I get what you're saying there, but I'm not sure concussion has been used that way previously. I'm not sure. That's why I'm saying I'm not sure.
Concussion and traumatic brain injury, there's a line there. I mean, like a concussion, like traumatic brain injury, I think is more than just a concussion.
The way now, again, I haven't paid much attention to this in the last, say, week or so, but that's how they described it at first when they were saying 7 or 10 or whatever it was.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Are they expecting the number to go up? It doesn't say so. Okay. Well, there's that. Now on to some more, lighthearted news, I suppose. I'll save that one for last. That's the funniest. I found this entertaining, though, today. Ben Smith is leaving BuzzFeed for the New York Times.
New York Times, huh?
Mm-hmm. Ben Smith, the former political blogger who built BuzzFeed News into a digital powerhouse, announced Tuesday that he is leaving the website and joining the New York Times as the newspaper's media columnist.
Okay.
It just reminds me of things like, people from Gawker migrating over to CNN, stuff like that. Quote, it's been the privilege of my life to do this job in its many iterations for more than 8 years, Smith said in a memo to BuzzFeed staff Tuesday, announcing his departure. Smith will start at the Times on March 2nd, according to a memo sent to the Times staff. Quote, Ben not only understands the seismic changes remaking media, he has lived them and in some cases led them, said the memo, written by Executive Director Dean Baquet, or Baquette, I'm not quite sure, Managing Editor Joe Kahn, and Business Editor Ellen Pollock. Quote, he joined BuzzFeed as editor-in-chief in 2012 and built a newsroom of more than 200 reporters and editors, including international bureaus, content verticals, and investigative teams that produced prize-winning projects.
Hold on.
Yeah. No, hold on. His desire to experiment with new digital forms and drive to break news have long fueled his career. Tell us again about that BuzzFeed exclusive that everybody went all nuts about a year ago. Remember that? What was that again? Was that about Flynn or something? I forget all this stuff.
Cohen
That's
had
right,
definitive evidence that was going to show Trump guilty, and he'd given it to the prosecutor.
Yeah, and everybody now it's not BuzzFeed's fault that CNN did not do any due diligence of its own or any of the other outlets. But let's just remember, they built a newsroom of more than 200 reporters and editors pumping out ill-researched material and questionable usefulness and clickbait stuff all over. This is what's going over to the New York Times guys. Now, I'm not going to say that he doesn't understand how new media works, because obviously BuzzFeed isn't bankrupt or anything.
Sure.
So as far as that goes, yeah, he probably knows a thing or two about how modern media works. I just would question the quality of the output of that newsroom.
I heard the word investigative.
It was including international bureaus, content verticals. It sounds like corporate speak to me, and investigative teams that produced prize-winning projects. But his desire to experiment with new digital forms and his drive to break big news have long fueled his career.
But they're not investigators.
Well, let me clarify. The head of CNN said they're journalists, not investigators. I can't speak for any other news outlet, but the head of CNN, Zucker or whatever, he's the one that framed his outlet that way.
Well, none of them corrected him, so I'm holding them off.
Well,
look, they're all sucking each other off any other time, but this time they're just like, okay.
That was graphic, Satsu.
Not as graphic as it could have been.
I suppose. But yeah, no, I just find it interesting that, we're, like I said, people from Gawker migrating out to other news agencies and things like that. And I'm still waiting to see what happens where Carlos Maza is going to end up, if he ends up anywhere at all from Vox. I kept thinking he's going to end up on MSNBC or something, but as far as I know, that hasn't materialized.
Probably not MSNBC, because NBC is the parent company of Vox, and that he caused way too many issues there.
Oh, I didn't know that NBC owned Vox.
Yeah. So maybe over on CNN somewhere on one of their little shows to give him a chance. But he's annoying as fuck, so he's not gonna. Yeah, you got to put him on a morning show where nobody's really paying attention.
Yeah, Carlos Maza now on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last one that I've got, at least until I recheck and make sure I missed something, kind of funny. What's the old adage? Don't touch the stove twice if you already know it's hot, kind of thing. Man arrested for smoking marijuana while in court for marijuana charge.
Jesus Christ!
Wait, as in in the courtroom?
Let's find out. This guy has a great name because it sounds like an old cowboy name. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw his name. Spencer Boston. That's his name, Spencer Boston. Well, that's a good name. Spencer Boston had a message, and nothing was going to stop him from delivering it, not even jail time. Boston, 20, was in court Monday in Wilson County, Tennessee, facing a simple marijuana possession charge, according to Wilson County Sheriff's Department Lieutenant Scott Moore. But as he stood to face Judge Haywood Berry, it's Tennessee, all right, he began expressing his views on why weed should be legalized. And to amplify his point, he reached into his jacket and slipped out a single marijuana cigarette. He then pulled out a box of matches and, you guessed it, lit it up.
Of course he did.
Boston got in several quick inhales before security personnel realized what was happening. They detained Boston and escorted him out of the courtroom. Boston wasn't done, though. Before being let out, he turned to the gallery and declared, quote, "The people deserve better," unquote. The courtroom burst out laughing. Boston's message came at a cost. The Wilson County Sheriff's Office said Boston was charged with disorderly conduct and simple possession of marijuana. Berry also held him in contempt of court for his actions. Boston is currently serving 10 days in jail for contempt. Afterward, he's eligible to post a $3,000 bond. His next court appearance is scheduled for April 14th. I wish it was April 20th. I really wish it was.
Yeah,
April
no
20th.
shit. Well, they probably wanted to,
well,
make sure
I
he
don't
wasn't
know.
doing it just out of the day.
Do you think those old codgers running that court even know what 420 means?
Oh, I'm sure there's a few who do.
Yeah, a few that do. Okay.
Yeah, because they smoking weed when they get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's for my glaucoma.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, any other super duper stories going on? There's a lot of sad stories today, like people dying and stuff. And I know it's like, well, I guess, okay, here's one's not, I mean, it's a sad story. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those natural disaster stories. So, magnitude 7.7 earthquake strikes off the coast of Jamaica and is felt as far away as Miami. And there's footage from one of the CNN affiliates of the camera all rocking around. I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to take a look. A magnitude 7.7 earthquake struck Tuesday about 80 miles from Jamaica, shaking people in the Caribbean and as far away as Miami. A tsunami of 0.4 feet.
I'm sorry, what?
Let me just back up. A tsunami, right, of 0.4 feet was recorded.
3 inches?
Yeah. So, can you okay? When I think tsunami, I don't think
4 or
of
5, whatever that is.
Yeah, 0.4. Yeah. So, what? So, somebody give me the definition of what a tsunami, or like the dictionary definition of tsunami. Does that?
I thought it was huge. Well, technically, it is a tsunami. Was it just based on how it comes in that makes it a tsunami?
Oh, like if its source is X, then it gets this name, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If it's caused by an earthquake, therefore it's a tsunami.
5 inches, somebody's telling is the actual 5-inch wave. Fuck.
No, that's a 5-inch tsunami.
Sorry, tsunami.
Tsunami is just a wave caused by an earthquake. Okay, so because when I think tsunami, I thought that was at least like a term describing something of at least a minimum measurement of like it has to be at least X number of feet to qualify as a tsunami. Sort of like a tornado, as the little it's a class 5 tornado versus a class 4 or something. Okay, so a tsunami is simply a wave generated by an earthquake. Okay, well, you learn something new every day.
Well, I still feel like if it's that small, you don't even mention it.
Yeah, well. So a tsunami of 0.4 feet was recorded in the Cayman Islands at Georgetown, but no tsunami was observed at Port Royal, Jamaica, or Port de Plate, Dominican Republic. Well, if it's barely a foot, you probably couldn't observe it if you wanted to next to regular waves. There were several aftershocks, including one the U.S. Geological Survey said had a magnitude of 6.1. Quote, based on all available data, there is no significant tsunami threat from this earthquake. However, there is a very small possibility of tsunami waves along coasts located near the epicenter of like half a foot. So, the quakes come 3 weeks after a magnitude 6.4 earthquake struck Puerto Rico. A tsunami threat alert was lifted Tuesday afternoon, a few hours after the quake, because 5 inches is a wave. But hey, I mean, I'll take that over the alternative that could have happened.
Oh, sure.
Especially after that part of the world has already been like just completely ravaged the last several years by things like this. So, hey, better than the other options. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss anything up on the chat that jumps out at me. Okay. Well, did you guys know of anything breaking or striking, or shall I move on?
This is just from little half an hour ago or so. The Hill reports that the GOP is confident to win their vote on witnesses to not have any. So,
when do
take
they
it for what?
Say?
The vote should come. Let's see what's tomorrow. It should come Friday, I would imagine, or late Thursday after the question period.
Oh, okay.
Because the president's team wrapped up today. The next 2 days are going to be the question and answer period. That's where senators submit written questions. And then after that, it's either wrap up the trial or have witnesses.
Yep. All right. Well, then, guys, we're going to move on to MSS News. So if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise to get to them all, but that's because I'm long-winded. I wish I could come up with a more like novel or entertaining excuse, like sometimes we do, but that's just the truth.
Can
And I
I
always tell the truth.
one question before we move on?
Sure.
So the witness thing, if I'm understanding this correctly, they are asking for witnesses because they don't have all the information they need, right? Or is that incorrect?
What they're suggesting is that if they get their witnesses, they will get more evidence that will mean absolutely nothing.
Well, it won't mean absolutely nothing to them.
So this is an attempt to get more evidence on the top, or to make up for the evidence they didn't get when they were supposed to.
Yes.
Yes. Though the pathway to call Bolton now is easier than it was at the time of the hearings, if I'm understanding things correctly, because if this manuscript is now a public disclosure, then executive privilege kind of goes out the window. So if the White House is going to try to prevent Bolton from testifying in the House hearings, but they wanted to get him to testify, now he can simply testify about what he's released as a manuscript, which I don't think was available to them before. That's the only difference I can think of. That I'm not saying it justifies calling him as a witness, but it makes calling him as a witness easier, if I'm reading things correctly.
Okay.
But yeah, now a lot of it is they want document/witness testimony that they quote unquote weren't able to attain in the House hearings. And they were only not able to attain them because they didn't at least try to go to the effort of going to the courts and challenging executive privilege. Which again, like I say, I would have loved if they had, because we need to have that check once in a while, but they were in a rush and lazy. And so half of this is, well, I mean, if they can get the votes, then sure, they can call witnesses because that's the rules. On the other hand, I don't think they should be rewarded for doing a shoddy job. So
now, do you think they did it this way because they thought it'd be easier to get what they wanted this way, as opposed to challenging whatever you just said they were supposed to?
I think they didn't have any other leverage to try to make their case seem bigger than what they brought with them, because I mean, unless they're delusional, and I suppose 1 or 7 of them could be, they have to understand the Senate is not the House. They have no power in the Senate that the Senate does not allow them. Pelosi didn't seem to understand that by withholding the articles as long as she did, like she could exert some kind of power over the Senate to get what she wanted as far as witnesses. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make most of this process doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense politically.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's
this way. It's not in the House being drug out there. They put the onus on the Senate, knowing the Senate was probably not going to call these people, and then they go, oh, "Look, the Senate didn't even try to call them." Like, well, neither did you. Well, we couldn't get them. So yeah, they push it all off down to the Senate. If there is any delay, it's in the Senate, not in the House. So yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if it's confusing to you motherfuckers, there's no way I'm gonna understand.
Well, I mean, most of it is like, I don't know the rules. I'm just sort of trying to. It's mostly theory, because everything starts breaking down when you get into the political weeds of it. Because there's very few set rules at this stage of the process, because the Senate can set their own rules for the most part. The Chief Justice being there is, I've described him before, he's a toothless functionary. He presides over the proceedings only as much as the Senate allows him to. So there's no grand arbiter. The majority in the Senate can set whatever rules they want for the most part, and that we just kind of have to wait and see how it goes. So there's what has happened in precedent in previous impeachments, but most of that is just that. It's not set as rules per se. Anyway,
gotcha.
Let's move on. Okay, this one comes from Frosted Glass, because Frosted Glass hates us or loves us in a sort of tough love way, I suppose. It's a Vice.com article under their health segment.
Uh-oh.
Queer people want therapists to call them on their bullshit.
Alrighty.
I don't know where this is going. The subtitle is "Affirmation is important, but too much can become suffocating for LGBTQ clients. So, okay, I have notions of what this is portending. Let's see. Okay, I assume this is an alias because they're only using the first initial. M wasn't clicking with their new therapist, and they just couldn't figure out why. They were both people of color, something that M had specifically sought out in the hopes that their shared identities. Okay, so you're a racial. Okay, just making sure I got that. Might strengthen their connection and improve the quality of their sessions. But after a few sessions, M, a 27-year-old fishmonger who lives in Minneapolis, didn't feel like they were getting anywhere with the specialist they'd chosen. Even though they shared the same skin color?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, the mystic chords of racial memory should just immediately connect once you get in the same room with somebody like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was why you sought out a person that, anyway. M would try to talk about their behavior troubled them, like their substance abuse and their pattern of starting fights with family members for attention, but their therapist would always respond with vague affirmations and empty platitudes. This frustrated them to no end. Well, it just could be a bad therapist.
Well, I mean, it might have something to do with the reason that she picked her. Because you think about it, if they're on the same wavelengths as far as, why they chose each other and why they would be better for each other, coddling, people who look like you and making excuses for the shit that they do and informing them that nothing they do is their fault. That kind of comes with the program. Like that's the whole part of the social justice shit.
That was where my first thought was when I read that headline. I was like, well, if you have an industry or you're looking for somebody that's just essentially a yes man, more or less, and we've lost Monkey somehow, then that's all you're going to get. And therapy doesn't really work if it's all just, affirmation. You need to be questioned. You need to be challenged on, because if you're not coming there because you don't need help or you don't feel you need some kind of outside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too is that, remember, M wasn't looking for a therapist based on their qualifications or their reviews or maybe their specialty given what they know about themselves. No, just to make sure that they shared the same identity, whatever the hell that means.
But this is just basically this whole article is we got what we asked for and we're regretting it again. Basically.
Welcome back, Monkey.
Hello. Can you guys hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Did you say fishmonger?
M is apparently a fishmonger. Yes.
The fuck is a fishmonger?
Let's see. Quote: It was that's somebody that works at a fish market and cuts up fish and throws fish around or whatever. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Quote: It was as if she thought I'd never considered that my trauma could have something to do with my queerness, M said. I actually think about that often and usually to creative and generative ends. Generative? Okay. All right. I don't think that the answer is to vapidly accept and affirm my queer and transness. Wait a second.
But
you want the therapist to challenge whether or not you're actually queer and or trans?
No, the behaviors that come with being queer and trans. Like I said, after that type of affirmation where it's like, you're queer and trans, so there's nothing you could have done wrong. Like it's everybody else.
I don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, and I think that's what's frustrating is just they're not acknowledging that it could be the fact that they are either queer or trans that could be causing some of the issue, but they keep avoiding that topic and making it seem like that has nothing to do with it and it's everything else.
Back to M. I don't seek out therapy to affirm those parts of my life. That's why I have friends and community. I seek out therapy to help me untangle deep knots in a safe space. Unquote. Okay, well, a therapist's office is one of the few instances where safe space does not make my brain go cringy because that's
sure.
It's there for therapy and that kind of stuff. So I can kind of understand that, but okay, maybe oh, sorry. context, I missed a sentence. I apologize. I got to go up a little bit. The therapist who was straight. Oh, but I thought you shared an identity. Oh, but we don't care about anything else about them aside from the aesthetic. Okay. Who was straight also seemed to fixate on M's queerness as if the reason they engaged in all of this problematic behavior was because of internalized self-hatred, and all they needed to change it was a little self-love. Okay. Well, if you've explained that to your therapist, they may or may not take that on, because if you were the best reliable witness of your behavior, you wouldn't be in therapy. So, the therapist doesn't know. Maybe you're avoiding something. Maybe you're, and not saying that you are, if you're not even listening to this, but you know what I mean. It's like you come to a therapist and you have your own theories and you talk them out with the therapist and you try to figure out, like, is there something you're not seeing? Is there another way to look at this? Are you sure that the trauma is not rooted in something that directly or collateral to the... that's part of the process. Now, if they're just telling you what you want to hear kind of thing, then that's not really therapy per se.
Yeah. And look at the precedent set, though. Like they set this up to where you have to kind of treat them like that. And as a straight person who is a therapist who should be hyper aware of other people's, feelings and emotions and that type of shit like that, they know very well what would happen if you try to, because obviously we've heard stories of that before, blaming or victim blaming essentially trans and gay people, for their behaviors, and alluding to the fact that literally anything could be their fault is, it's attacking them basically.
Yeah.
So this therapist going in there with that in mind, like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen?
It kind of reminds me of, I haven't done a video on it in a long time, but I've got a playlist on my channel from Dr. Chris Hoff, and he's the radical therapist. And bits and pieces of what she was describing, I don't know the gender, was describing there, reminds me of some of his philosophies on modern therapy. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it had to do with sort of the therapist not acting as though they were the one in charge of the session and sort of ceding their expertise to the wisdom of the patient.
Mm.
And I always thought that, why are you being paid again? That was kind of my thought. So I don't know if that's going on there, but anyway, we're going to move on because that's a lot of time on that one story. And I have a feeling that a lot of time is going to be on this one. This one comes from Captain Brambles. Let's see. And RJ, did Scott show up yet? I just want to check in on that.
I haven't seen.
Okay. RJ, let us know. This is slate.com. Ooh, I feel so fancy. My wife wants to date women. She says I can date too, but only other men. The answer is divorce. I'm a guy, 24, predominantly straight, but hetero-flexible, I'd say.
Stop, what?
Hetero-flexible?
You never heard that term before?
No.
Okay. That's not an unknown term to me.
Really?
Yes, hetero-flexible is just another way of saying I'm kind of bi.
Kind of bi.
Well, it's like being a little bit pregnant, but yeah, it's like you prefer women, but you don't necessarily mind men. That's or vice versa, depending on which gender you are.
Hey, look, I lick the tip. That's about it.
Yeah, kind of. Metaphorically speaking, I've hooked up with guys, but haven't felt attracted to men lately. I'm married to a bisexual woman who's 26 and has been in (fairly) serious relationships with both men and women. My wife expresses desires to have a girlfriend, which I'm fine with for the most part. She says she'd be fine with me having a boyfriend, but not a girlfriend, which is an issue for me because, one, I'm not particularly into men anymore, and two, I think that's a massive double standard. Well, you're absolutely right there, guy 24.
Fucking huge double standard.
In my mind, having sex with someone else is having sex with someone else, regardless of gender identity. For the record, I'm not a prude. I'm not completely uncomfortable with the idea of an open relationship. Uneasy, but I think it could work if approached right. No, dude. This is one of those. I've had to describe what this term means to people sometimes. There's a phrase I use occasionally. If there is any doubt, there is no doubt. As in, if you're at all unsure about something this serious, then you already have the answer. You know, because there's no gray area here when you have a relationship like this.
Mhm.
Either you're good with it or you're not. And if you're not, you already know what the answer to this problem is.
Yeah, you can't be partially good with this shit. You got to be
Right.
all the way.
Exactly. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this goes on for like 2 pages. I'm not going to read the rest of it. That's the gist of it. You say no because it is a double standard. It's unfair. She's getting everything she wants, and you're getting nothing of what you want. The end. In my book.
I agree.
Monkey.
Quite agree. You don't get to go, hey, you can do this with my rules.
Yeah. Let's see. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. This looks ridiculous, but then most stories do. Florida Man, which still doesn't have his own Netflix series. Netflix, I've got a whole list of episode synopsises ready to go when the time comes. Okay. Florida Man, known for viral Easter Bunny brawl, arrested after hit and run, tells cops to Google him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Google me doing this other assault. A Florida man who went viral last year after video captured him in a street brawl with another man while dressed as the Easter Bunny. Here's the thing. If you have the Easter Bunny costume on, they don't know it's you. Because you got the costume. Anyway, he has donned the costume again, this time in an attempt to avoid a hit-and-run arrest. Wait, he was wearing the costume? Antoine McDonald, 21, drove his motorcycle through a stop sign and crashed into a carport, which collapsed and damaged a car before he fled the scene on January 16th. When deputies responded, a neighbor said he had spotted McDonald limping across the yard. The Orlando Sentinel reported, citing an arrest report. Deputies went to McDonald's home and saw a gray car leaving the driveway. They discovered McDonald wearing the bunny costume in the back seat, the report said. Deputies told McDonald to remove the costume before arresting him, but the 21-year-old maintained his innocence. Quote, "I wasn't in any crash. I'm the Orlando Easter Bunny. Google it," McDonald told deputies.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, you know, if the only 15 minutes of fame you've got is the only ones you're ever going to get, I guess you really have to cling on to it as much as you can.
Yeah, he ain't the brightest.
Yeah. I'm the Orlando Easter Bunny.
Now, if I remember correctly, that story, he wasn't like the one who started the fight, right? He was like defending somebody or something.
I don't remember the details of it. I think he was a bystander to it, or maybe he was the target because somebody was drunk or something. I don't know. I forget.
Yeah, I don't remember him being the bad guy in that one specifically.
I thought that was the one where he like just started beating the shit out of some guy on the street.
Well, I think that was the initial thing, but when we had looked at it, we was like, "Oh, this bunny's just beating up on some dude." But we saw the details, and it's like, I think he was defending somebody or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I'm getting that feeling though. So
either way, even if he was defending somebody, crashing your car, damaging somebody else, and then trying to lie to the cops.
Oh yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with that thing.
But this one comes from Froggy, the short redhead. Man rescues freezing kittens stuck to ice by pouring coffee on them.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Well, hey, whatever works. 3 little popsicles were rescued last week. This is Fox. Yeah, I know. This sounds like, it's like, oh, Lords, meowy Christmas. 3 little popsicles were rescued last week in Canada by a quick-thinking man who used his coffee to thaw them out. On Wednesday morning, oil patch worker Kendall DeWish of Alberta heard the tiny cries of 3 kittens in the snow. In a video shared on Facebook, which has since gone viral, DeWish records himself approaching the cats and discovering their tails were frozen to the ice. The fast-acting man then goes to his car and grabs a still warm coffee to use to free the kittens from the ice. Quote, so today I found these three fellows on one of the back roads near one of my wells, most likely dropped off. Poor things were frozen into the ice, so they had to have been there all night. Took them home, fed them, and watered them, and they looked to be healthy and friendly. Okay, whoever did that, fuck you.
Yeah.
There's a...
Right in the butt.
Isn't there a... I think I saw something on Netflix, or at least the ad for it, like something like Don't Hurt Cats or something.
Oh, so I think it's Don't Fuck with Cats is what
Don't
it's
Fuck
called.
with Cats. Yeah, there's some documenting. I assume that has to do with the sort of cultural / internet tradition of if you hurt a cat, you're in deep shit, which I don't disagree with, but yeah. I'm reminded of that, the Canadian murderer guy. What was his name?
Canadians.
I forget the name of him all of a sudden. He was a wannabe porn star / model. And he got himself famous by posting videos of him murdering kitty cats.
Oh, is that the one that they just made like the special about or something?
Maybe that's where that comes from. I don't know. I don't know what that Don't Fuck with Cats movie is about. Maybe it's about him. And then he ended up murdering a real person at one point, and then sending the guy's body parts to different parts of the government or whatever. So yeah, that guy's fucked up. Luca Magnotta. That's what it was. Thank you, Keeverdam. That name is very distinct, but it's always like, Luca Magnotta, which isn't his real name. That's his stage name or something. But whatever. Yeah, he's in jail now, so fuck him. Moving on, we'll do a couple more here. This one comes from Jordan250, resident, one of our resident artists or meme generators here on Lords of the Night. Wienermobile gets pulled over and fans relish the jokes. Frankly, even the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile has to obey traffic laws, and if the driver doesn't, he or she may end up getting grilled by the cops. And social media followers will surely relish the many puns and other bad jokes about the giant hot dog-shaped vehicle. Quote, what really happened on that fateful day when with the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? The Waukesha County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Office tweeted on Monday. Quote, the driver of the Wienermobile was stopped and given a verbal warning by a Waukesha sheriff for not following the move over law.
I think it's pronounced Waukesha.
Waukesha? Okay. My father comes from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I don't know all the name places there. Meat company Oscar Mayer owns 6 27-foot long Wienermobiles. Oh, I thought they'd own a lot more than that. And apparently one of them got burned. When the sheriff shared the photo of the pulled over hot dogger, fans couldn't wait to serve up a pun. Here are the 5 best we saw. Okay. Number 1, thanks for helping us catch up on these laws. I really relish these kinds of posts.
Lame.
Number 2, I guess the Wienermobile driver just couldn't cut the mustard that day.
Lame.
Number 3, it's Wisconsin. The Wienermobile is the equivalent of the Queen's glass coach there, unquote.
All right.
That's not really a pun, but yeah, okay. Number 4, don't drive like a hot dog.
Oh, my God. These are the top?
And number 5, should have been a Mr. Wiener. Just saying.
Okay. That one's acceptable.
That one's...
What are the losers?
5. Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, those are the top ones. Jesus. Like number 5 was only barely passable. So, whatever. Thank you, Non-Vitae Rex. Get Out. I never saw that movie.
This story brought to you by the McDonald's McWiener.
Let's see. And several people were asking earlier, where's your Happy Meals? Go buy a bag of goldfish, go buy a bottle of Dr. Pepper, and a bottle of Jack Daniels. Ta-da! Happy Meal. Makes me happy.
Not suitable for children.
No, it's not a children's Happy Meal. It is a 21 and over Happy Meal. Let's make that clear. Let's see. And I will finish up with this one. This one comes from Shrouded Angel. If it'll come up here. Come on. You can do it. Turn that single gear, internet. Thank you. Mum livid after nursery sends her rude note by writing on her toddler in green marker.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to put this in the chat so people can see the pictures. I don't
That's
know.
an ass woman right there.
Yeah. It is.
A furious mom has hit out at a nursery who left her a message by scrawling it on her toddler's stomach in green marker. Single mom of two, Heather, discovered the writing when changing her son Milo's nappy after a long day at work, leaving her furious. Writing on Facebook, she says the daycare put a daily report in both her children's lunchboxes to let her know how they had behaved that day, what times they were changed, and if either of them need more nappies or wipes bringing in. The American mom, this is the British Mirror, guys. The American mom, she must have missed a message from. I'm reading it as it's written, but I'm going to continue. Must have missed a message from the day before that Milo required more diapers, as she was then faced with a huge message written in marker on his torso. Quote, "Mom, I'm out of diapers. Please read my report," unquote.
You know, phones exist.
Yeah, texts, things. Let's see. Okay, the mom said, quote, "Now keep in mind, I see several teachers at drop-off and several at pickup. If I failed to see that he needs diapers, a simple, 'Hey, Heather, your son needs diapers. Maybe you missed the report,' would have done the trick from any of the many teachers there I see daily. But instead, I changed his diaper this afternoon and see this written on my son with marker. I've scrubbed it with several baby wipes and it's not coming off. I had plans to take them to the beach to play, and now I can't because my son has writing all over him. I'm a single mom with a full-time job and two very young children. Sue me for not reading the report every single day," unquote.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to. That's specifically about what your child needs. Now, look, they don't write on somebody's kid like that, but can you stop pretending that sue me for paying attention to what my child actually fucking needs? Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If that was my mom and that shit happened back in the day, this story would be very different. It'd be like, woman gets the shit beat out of her.
Well, the other thing too, the daycare doesn't have some spare diapers. And if they don't, they should. And then if they have to use them, that's not provided by the parents, you charge them extra. I mean, put that into the contract somewhere. This is bonkers to me, but yeah, don't write on it. Don't write on a baby, for God's sakes. You should have contact information for all the parents in case of emergency, at least. So text them, send them a letter in the mail, call them. I mean, whatever. This is bullshit. Don't write on a kid. Stupid as that.
And I'm with you on that. Just mom's attitude is not the best either. Fuck that bitch.
Given the circumstances, I'm more against the daycare than I am against the mother in this instance, because if come on, a daycare doesn't have some spare diapers in case of emergencies. Come on.
Well, it's not just in case of emergencies. What about tomorrow and the day after that?
That's the thing. Like I say, if you have to end up using your own diapers, what you do is you put the name of the daycare on the diaper, and when they go back home, the person's like, "Why the hell is this on here?" Like, "Well, they didn't get us enough diapers, so that'll be $5 extra." Incentive not to do that again. That's what I'd do if I was a business, but what do I know? I mean, they're just single mothers.
Bottom line, don't write on people's kids.
Yeah, just don't do that. Don't do that.
That's how you get your ass.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lawsuit, or at least you're gonna have to discount her or something.
We are not putting Aaliyah in. I'm telling you, man. If some shit like that happen, I see y'all when I get out.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for all the stories. Sorry to get to them all, but like I say, we get focused on interesting things that you send us, and it's interesting. Thank you, Pinkala, the Driving Ape Man, as a daycare parent, X to doubt. Okay, that's also a possibility. It's also a possibility that the mother did it herself for whatever reason. So who knows? If we have a follow-up at some point in the future, we'll look at that. But unless or until that happens, just have to take it on faith, I suppose. All right, so moving on to the wonderful world of YouTube time. I'll go first. I didn't do anything today. It's not likely I'll get much done this week because of billing and a bunch of other stuff, so I might end up doing a live stream of something over the weekend. We'll wait and see. Satsu, how about you?
What did I do today? I don't think I did. I got together some videos that were saved on my camera and put them together. It's not really going to be a vlog, or maybe it will be some sort of vlog or whatever, of just a lot of little cute Squeedus stuff that I've been able to record. So anybody who needs their daily fix of Squeedus cuteness, that's down the pipeline at some point. And like I said, just editing a bunch of other videos that I got in the queue for the cooking channel. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Monkey, what do you got?
Excuse me. I just did a monkey in the morning this morning. I was going to try to do more than that. And then my body went, we're done. So now I'm here. That's all.
Oh, okay.
We streamed Dark Souls last night.
We did indeed.
And we actually had a nice bit of fun playing it. From last night, though, I kind of kept playing. And I was just backtracking and going to areas or whatever. Monkey, just an FYI, you can go back and respec your character anytime you want.
Really?
Yeah, you can just go back to the old ladies and talk to them, and you can respec your character. I did so and switched to a giant greatsword build, and I was fucking around with it, and I'm liking it. So when we go back to playing, my character will be a different makeup than what you guys have been seeing. And it should be more interesting. I'm going for a fucking YOLO build, so it'll be fun.
Okay. One video game note for those of you out there who are interested in such things. On Steam right now, the game Lovecraft Untold Stories, which is kind of a pixel roguelike kind of action RPG kind of deal. That's all based around the Cthulhu mythos and Lovecraft and stuff. They're celebrating their year anniversary since release, and it is 80% off right now. I got the deluxe version for $4.
Nice.
So if you like that kind of thing, I haven't played it yet. Truth be told, it was like, oh, I can get something that's within a genre or an IP kind of thing that I like for ridiculous cheap. Because yesterday it was like $10, and that when it had a discount at that time, but now it's dropped down to 80% off. So if you're like that kind of thing, go take a look. It's super, super cheap. And it's one of those things where like some people describe it as kind of Souls-like because there's a lot of the combat can be very difficult if you don't have the pattern down kind of thing. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't played it yet, but anyway, go take a look. With that, we can move on to a little bit of fucketry. I'll do a couple of mine first just for the hell of it because I've only got a couple. I was busy at the work today. Where's that one that I put out? Oh, yeah. Boston Market put out a little meme thing today that said, what's something you can say to both your rotisserie chicken and to your significant other?
I'm talking to chicken.
And I said, paying for you was easier than really putting any effort into it.
Well done.
What was the answer?
Yeah, no, that was the answer.
Oh, they just presented the question. Okay.
Yeah, they said what's something you can say, and that was my answer.
Gotcha.
So Harry Enton, our second favorite friend at CNN, he tweeted out this amazing 2-tweet thread. I will read it in its entirety. I think the case that Biden is more electable than Sanders, and especially Warren, is fairly straightforward. Moderates do better than folks at the polls, as in the polls on either side of the spectrum of politics. Biden's lead versus Trump has tended to be larger, but that's very different than saying Sanders or Warren are unelectable. Further, there are other factors at play that can easily swamp ideology.
Okay, can you say that again?
Yeah, sure. I think the case that Biden is more electable than Sanders, and especially Warren, is fairly straightforward. Moderates do better than folks at the polls. Biden's lead versus Trump has tended to be larger, but that's very different than saying Sanders or Warren are unelectable. Further, there are other factors at play that could easily swamp ideology. And my response to that was, this episode of Safely Non-Committal has been brought to you by the letter duh. Hashtag expert analysis. Because I read that just like Monkey. I read that 2 or 3 times going like, you have just said absolutely nothing. Professional political analyst here, guys. This guy gets paid money by CNN to do this kind of thing in written form, in articles, and oh God.
CNN, how I get a job, man?
Yeah, seriously, guys, CNN. Okay. And I'm not even kidding, because if this is the level at which you're willing to employ somebody, listen to our show for a week. Okay? Listen to our show. Between the three of us combined could have a show on CNN.
Easy. Yeah.
And have
better than anything on there.
Yeah, and have as effective or more so, I would say. I'll be fair. Maybe there's somebody there that's good. I don't know. But at least as effective, if not more so, political, social commentary and analysis than anybody you put up there in your top tier. So if anybody knows anybody at CNN, it has like some kind of like content manager or something for their radio or their website, whatever. Get them to listen to our show for a week. You know, we can tone down some of the language and make it all palatable for cable news.
Sure.
But you know, we're better than that. Come on, Harry Enton. Seriously, this guy's a professional, quote unquote. Not to mention Chris Saliza, but you know, I do that plenty already. And I think that's all. Oh, so I can't play the video on this because it's CNN and I don't want to get zapped or something. But there's a video going around today of it's only like 1:20 of Don Lemon interviewing a couple of guys, and this one. This one guy in the end starts making comments about how Trump supporters couldn't find Ukraine on a map. He insults Trump. Sorry, go ahead.
I can tell you his exact joke that makes Lemon lose it. He says Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you wrote a U and then drew an actual crane. Yeah, and this is my response to that. So I said in quotation marks, U-crane. Wow, I wonder how much time he spent before the interview crafting that gem. Because when you hear him say it, it was obviously rehearsed. Oh, he's so proud of himself.
Yeah,
too.
he was so, oh my God, he was stroking himself mentally. He was like, oh God, I said that perfectly. And but here's the thing, he goes on, and I can't quote him on the next part, but he goes on to call Trump supporters or Trump voters, etc., basically idiots. I wish if Monkey's got the quote in front of him, but otherwise,
boomer something vote Trump supporters.
Yeah, boomer Trump supporters. Anyway, and so I continue. I said, and so we're right back into deplorables territory, and apparently blissful amnesia has once again set in over how effective vilifying Trump supporters worked the last time. Because that's a great strategy. You know, tell half the electorate, or at least the half of the politically ideological electorate, that they're just idiots. Yeah, that's the best message, you know. So anyway,
I wish I could remember the full insult, because he says this thing, and what the hell was it? He calls them boomer something, and he uses a boomer insult.
Yeah,
he uses a word you haven't heard in, like, I think somebody on the morning show said, like hadn't heard since the 50s, and like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go. The dude's a boomer himself, making boomer jokes.
But anyway, that's all I had. Satsu, what do you got?
Well, in relation to the story that not the story, but the game that you were talking about before, and you gave the descriptor Souls-like. Do you guys know that's like a genre now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a defined, like God of War, right? There are so many games that are called like God of War clones and stuff like that. There's just those games out there that end up setting the mold for mechanics and aesthetic and everything else. And anything that comes out afterwards, like, you know, Arkham Asylum and that kind of combat, that kind of flow rhythm combat became a thing. And you can notice it in other games like Mad Max and things like that. Yeah, and Dark Souls has become its own, like when people say roguelike, that's because there was a game called Rogue way back in the day. But what it doesn't really apply as accurately as people think. But anyway, yeah, so Dark Souls, Souls-like now becomes that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know why that annoys me.
Hmm.
I'm honestly, I'm gonna be the first to say that it is unreasonable for me to be annoyed by it, but it just does, because there's so many games being compared to, and then you look and you're just like, no, this isn't. Because I think the reason is because they mainly tie it to difficulty, usually, where they're just like, this game is hard, so it's like Dark Souls, and I'm like, no, that's not the metric.
Well, now I haven't read every comparison, but usually the times that I have seen it, they're comparing it to the specific combat mechanics of having to work with the patterns of the enemies, and that it's very unforgiving. But then once you get down the patterns and you get the rhythm going, so like the new Star Wars game, a lot of people said it was like Dark Souls Star Wars because some of the enemies and their attacks and everything have to be very carefully measured before you attack in order to get a successful hit or conquer them and that kind of thing.
Right.
That's how I associate someone saying Souls-like. It's difficult, but requiring accurate attack strategy.
Yeah, and in regards to mechanics, like sharing mechanics or whatever, usually I'm pretty on board with that. But for the most part, whenever I see it in regards to certain games, they're just like, yeah, this game's hard. It's Dark Souls. Like, no. It's not a reasonable metric. Let me see. What else did I see today? Oh, for some reason, there's been a kind of rise of people kind of invoking Gamergate now in regards to almost anything.
Yes.
And it was disappearing for a while, but now it's starting to rear its head again. And it's just as annoying as it was back then.
Real quick, thank you, Non-Vitae Rex. Star Wars Jedi die twice. Yeah, so is there Sekiro or whatever? Sekiro? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sekiro.
And I don't understand these people's absolute obsession with this thing that was like so bad. This horrible, terrible event, this horrible thing that they just keep trying to resurrect and bring back and compare everything to. Like everything. It's like this is a Gamergate like tactic. This is Gamergate situation. This reminds me. I'm like, oh my god, people, it's over. The shit's done. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, let it go.
I mean, it depends on in the instance, but I've seen some comparisons where they're saying, like, this is like Gamergate because the truth is X, and yet the media has run with narrative Y.
Well, that argument I understand.
Yeah.
When people are talking about the comparison and how a situation is being treated, but whenever, and I'm talking about mostly this is activists or whatever, who are talking about somebody getting attacked or harassed online, or somebody saying something stupid and being criticized.
Yeah.
They're always just like, it's just like Gamergate. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's a cheap shot. Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Because obviously, most people don't acknowledge why Gamergate started or why it even exists. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't care. If you can't see it for what it was, then you just don't want to, and that's on you. But everything is not Gamergate, just like everything is not Trump's fault.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of fucking hearing about it because it's popping up way too often now, and a lot of shit has kind of been cropping up from the past because these motherfuckers do not progress in life. Like, they literally just stay back there and they never move forward, and it's kind of sad to watch, but it is what it is. I think those are like the only two major things I wanted to bitch about today. I didn't see anything like super fucking tree worthy. I just wanted to bitch about that stuff.
All right, Monkey.
I saw the Gamergate thing too, and it was funny watching that somebody, and I don't remember who, brought it up on was it Twitter, YouTube video? I don't remember. But it blew up yesterday real big, and it was amazing reading all the different people's takes on it.
Mm-hmm.
How many people were like, yes, Gamergate, it was all about the women's, and Gamergate, it was all about the men's, and Gamergate, it was all about the journals, and fuck off. But anyway, no, I actually wanted to bring up a story that we missed yesterday.
Let me get this real quick, Monkey.
Sure.
Thank you, Cryptic. Dark Souls is almost as hard as Battletoads. Yeah, Battletoads tough. But you think Battletoads
Almost.
Try okay, and try playing Silver Surfer, or the classic Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You think Battletoads is tough? Holy cow, Silver Surfer, man. Anyway, go ahead, Monkey.
Hang on, I should have had this already brought up. I didn't know how much time we had, so I didn't. So I'm going to bring this. Here it is. Now, Undoomed had just tweeted this out about this article, but it was sent to us yesterday from our friend and the guy who's trying to give me a stroke, Frosted Glass.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Slate article. It's another one of those what should I do kind of things.
Oh, an advice column. Yeah.
An advice column. I'm a heterosexual woman who's politically opposed to heterosexuality.
Oh, right. Yeah. How can you be politically opposed to okay, continue. Sorry.
I'm a cis woman and kind of a classic millennial sex pickle. I'm really
a sex pickle. Is that an assistive device?
I guess so. I'm really repelled by heterosexuality politically and personally.
What?
But I'm also really into dick. I've been thinking maybe that I should look for bi-curious gay dudes, but I'm not sure how to best do that. Rich, what would you think of a woman being on Grindr or Scruff? I want to be respectful of gay men's spaces and not horn in where I'm not welcome, but I really would love to find a verse guy with queer politics who would be up for casually dating a woman. What do you think? If you were me, where would you look? I just want to lay that out for you guys who don't understand. This is
I don't understand.
A straight woman who thinks having sex with a gay man will somehow be better than just having sex with a man. It won't be heterosexual anymore if she bangs a gay guy.
I am politically against heterosexuality. I just don't even
politically. Yeah, I'm struggling with that concept too. How? Okay, I'm trying to think of like what would be the correlation. Like if I'm politically against homosexuality, I guess that would be no, because isn't that just like a lifestyle? I mean, if it was a religious thing, maybe, but politically, I don't get what.
Well, what she's saying is that she's been taught that heterosexuality is bad, and so she doesn't want to be a part of it. That's what this is. So,
okay,
she's going to go suck a gay dick so that she's not straight. I'll say that again. She's going to go suck a gay dick so that she's not straight.
Well, what if they don't want to because they're gay?
Well, that's what she's asking here. How do I do it so that it's not disrespectful to the gay folks?
That's insane. This woman is insane.
Faithless just said it. She is so she's brainwashed. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's nuts.
Which brings me to my second thing. AOC today. I don't know if it was today, but sometime within the last 2 days or so. She told us that millennials are like really the smart ones. And I'm trying to find the exact thing because there it is. Young people like me are smarter than older people.
Oh, God.
She was specifically asked if the new generation is too delicate. And she goes on this long rant, which ends with her saying that they're actually the best kind of people because, I'm not making this up, they get out in the streets and march. That's them actually doing something. That shows just how great they are.
Right.
But I just want to remind you, we just read a woman asking how she can be gay by sucking dick.
Oh, sorry, Monkey. Scott is here.
Scott, we've been waiting for you. Where you been?
See, RJ says Scott's here, aka at Fantastic Mr. S. Can you sing to him like metalheads?
I don't know if I can.
I will like death metal. I can try. Might hurt my throat, but I'll try.
Scott, happy birthday, sir. Around here we do this, and this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Incoherent English. Happy birthday, dear Scott. Questionable lyrics. Happy birthday.
Oh yeah.
Happy birthday, Scott. I'm gonna have to stop talking. My throat hurts now. Happy birthday, Scott. I hope you had a great one. I really do. Yeah, I can't do that again. Oh, that's why I don't do the Louis Armstrong voice anymore either. Oh fuck, man.
No, sorry.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah, this was a great one. This Anne Frank. That is a weird spelling. Maybe that's Frankie. It's FRANCKE. So I'm not sure how you say that.
Franca or something. Okay.
Yeah. Up early to speak with at Dominic, whatever, on BBC4 today about, quote, how excessive sports banter at work or before meetings can make people, especially women and some men, feel excluded and be a sign of more laddish culture.
Get a life.
Wait, what? Can you read that bullshit again?
Let me make it more concise.
Okay.
People who talk about sports at work make other people feel left out, and it's a little bit too mannish.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about you mind your fucking business?
Yeah, no shit, right? What about when you talk about last night's drama that nobody watched, or last night's Survivor, or your makeup, or any
your
other
fucking kids?
Yeah, there are people out there who aren't part of that, but sports is where we have to stop it. Yeah, you got a couple of choices: grow the fuck up,
shut the fuck up,
which I know isn't gonna. Yeah, shut the fuck up, or start watching sports. You might actually find you like it.
Yeah.
You know what's odd? The women that I've known who have been introduced to sports later in life tend to be the worst fans on the planet. And by worst fans, I mean those fans are like, oh, shut the fuck up already. They become so attached to their teams and stuff that it's funny to watch, actually, because a lot of times they're like, I don't know anything about sports. And then next year they're like, I hope your team dies. Give it a chance. I mean, you might actually like it. Stop turning your nose up to shit and now tell excessive sport. Well, one, define excessive. To a lot of people, even mentioning it is excessive. But I feel left out because they're talking about things I don't understand. Right. Shut up. There you go. Shut up. There's your answer. I can't believe this is the stuff we whine about now.
It's not. Well, we don't, Monkey.
As a society, I meant.
I wouldn't even go that far either.
I think there's enough that it's actually. I mean, it was worthy enough of a conversation on BBC4, you guys.
That okay? You keep lowering the bar, Monkey. BBC fucking 4. Yeah, no, that's not society. That's not us. That's BBC fucking 4. Ask Bear about that. Ask Tailed about BBC 4.
I know BBC 4. Don't get me wrong, but as much as we want to pretend BBC 4 isn't a bellwether, pay attention to what they talk about and what happens.
All right.
The next thing, this was sent to me by Harvos this morning. There's a video of Joe Biden out there explaining that he thinks people who work for ICE should be fired if they deport somebody for drunk driving. Because
you don't deport them for drunk driving.
Here's why. Well, we've deported them for being busted for drunk driving, and he says if somebody does that, if they deport them for this, people should only be deported for felonies. He says, and he doesn't consider drunk driving a felony.
Hold on. They don't get deported for drunk driving. They get deported because being caught drunk driving, not having identification, identified as someone who's not here legally, then they get deported.
But Scribe, they shouldn't be deported for that. Only for felonies. So if you catch an illegal drunk driving, You have to wait until they actually kill somebody before you deport them.
Is a DUI a misdemeanor?
I think it depends on the state.
Okay, because
or the number of times.
Yeah, I have this notion that a DUI is at least a minor felony to begin with, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the exact. Oh shit! I just closed chat. I'm not sure about the exact legality of it, but it does strike me as fucking weird that it's like, look. Until they actually run somebody over while they're drunk, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
No, I feel like drunk driving is a good enough. Look, one, I'm for kicking them out if they're just, here illegally. But if they're going to be here and they are drunk driving and we catch them doing that, I'd say we get them out before they run somebody over while they're drunk. You don't wait till they kill a family of 4, you fucknut. Anyhow.
I mean, to most of these people, even if they did kill a family of 4 while drunk driving, that's still no cause to be racist and kick them out of somewhere where they don't belong.
Scott says, my mom is one of those crazy sportswomen. The Wings won the Stanley Cup the year I was born. She became such a fanatic that I could skate almost as soon as I could walk. I'm telling you, those ladies who come to it later in life, they are crazy. I love them too, don't get me wrong, but they're crazy.
Thank you, Angry Illinoisan. My opinion, you should be charged with attempted murder if you are caught drunk driving because you are endangering everybody else on the road. I can understand. I don't know.
I get the thought. I'm not sure I want to go that far.
Nah, I don't go that far.
I mean, it would depend. It would depend on the circumstances. If somebody's drunk driving on a completely empty road in the middle of the night versus driving in the middle of rush hour or something, maybe the extended circumstances could add to the charge or enhance it in some way. I'm sure this has already been thought of in other places. I don't know what the laws are in every state, so I understand the sentiment. Not sure if I'm fundamentally willing to go that far, but yeah.
I will say this: if you're caught drunk driving and you're illegal, we can kick you the fuck out.
Yeah.
We don't even need the drunk driving part. But with that, like, bye. So yeah, that's all I had.
Alrighty. Well, guys, we'll move a little quickly into question time, chat time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, conspiracy... Let me try that again. If you have questions, comments, concerns, conspiracy theories, complaints, let us know now in the chat. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, I don't blame you. I don't even know what I'm talking about. While we wait for those to catch up, remember, guys, tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel at the regular time. And I forget, are you guys gaming after this tonight?
Nope.
Okay. But you guys were doing like Streets of Rage and everything the other night and all that?
Oh, yeah. We had to kind of fill the gap there, so we were playing the Sega collection, classic collection.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, yeah, there are like multiplayer games from way back when. You guys should play, see if you can get the X-Men game or something.
Well, unfortunately, it's only Sega branded games.
Oh, okay.
And their net code is ass.
It really is.
Really? For games, for games that old? Really? Wow. Okay.
Well, it's because somebody explained, because the game was a port initially, and it didn't have, it only had local multiplayer or co-op, and they just tacked an online mode on it, and it's not good.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
you would have thought they would have structured those for online play better at this stage of the game. But
you would think that they would actually, because they just had to port it over. They didn't have to do literally anything to it. Just port it over. But
let's see. Attack Alpaca. I know what Monkey's answer is going to be to this one. Which one did you like best in its prime? Simpsons, Family Guy, or South Park?
Oh, definitely South Park. Yeah.
I didn't watch enough South Park to make so I'd go with The Simpsons as a default. But that's Simpsons in its prime was great. I didn't watch that much Family Guy because it didn't really. I mean, it was funny in places, but it was all a bunch of like jump cuts and things.
Family Guy was fucking hilarious to me, but that's probably because of my age. The references made more sense to me than The Simpsons did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so but I fucking love Family Guy.
And when I started watching the few times I watched The Family Guy in the early years, I just kept thinking, are they ripping off this jump gimmick to skit deal from The Critic? Have you guys ever saw the cartoon The Critic by the same people that did The Simpsons? Because there was always these inside jokes they'd cut to like some fake movie, and it was always cultural references and things. And I always compared that. I just compared Family Guy to that. Like, that just seems like a ripoff. I know they did it more and better and stuff, but yeah.
It was an homage.
An homage. Check your logic. What's the hardest game you played or just seen on NES?
NES.
Well, yeah, NES. I honestly, and this is long before Angry Video Game Nerd, I tried to play Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on more than one occasion, and it was just, I couldn't understand it at all. I couldn't get past the first like 3 minutes of that. And I rented that thing at least 3 or 4 times in my youth. And I mean, I knew there was a way to do it, right? And in my mind, this is before the internet, so I couldn't look up tips or tricks or something. So I tried to figure it out on my own, but nope, just got completely plowed over. Every other game that I ever played or saw other people play, I saw how it was done and I knew it wasn't impossible, but Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was probably my least favorite.
I didn't have NES as a kid. I actually had Sega. So back then, my Dark Souls essentially was Batman and Robin. That game was extremely fucking difficult. Yeah. But I beat it as a kid. But you want to know something weird? I got it on the emulator as a in my early 20s, and then I actually recently tried to play it a couple years back, and I can't beat it for shit now. I beat it back then, but I can't fucking do it now. It's too hard.
Monkey?
I don't know. The games that I had the most trouble with were ones I ended up beating anyway. Probably the one that gave me the most trouble was it Castlevania 3? One of the Castlevania games. I've never been good on side scrollers. The Legend of Zelda 2.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't know. Those. I didn't consider most of those to be very hard though, especially coming off like E.T. A game I beat repeatedly, despite it being so hard for adults to beat.
Frosted Glass. Speaking of McDonald's, Scribe, you ever seen Mac and Me and its infamous McDonald's dance scene? Yes. As a youngster, I did see Mac and Me at least once all the way through, way back when. And of course, I've seen clips ever since because pieces of that have become a meme. And I thought it was a dumb movie back then because I thought, even then, I was like, this is an E.T. ripoff, which it was, and not a very good one. At least it wasn't Nuki. And if you guys don't know the wonderment of Nuki, well, you just have to look up Nuki.
Are you guys familiar with those creepy fucking Burger King games?
Oh yeah, my children actually love those things.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't played them, so I don't know.
They were like this meme going around for a long time where it was like the Creep King or something like that, where you were the BK King. You had to creep up on people and like sneak burgers into their fucking pockets or some shit. It was some weird, creepy shit, man.
Yeah, those Burger King commercials. I remember those, and those were like, those are so bizarre. It was just like, there's this smiling king, like what the fuck? I mean, they're memorable though. You know?
Oh yeah, you can't forget that creepy motherfucker.
Gulf City Culture Girl says, I hated the Medusa heads in Castlevania. Yeah, because you got knocked back and like right off the edge of something. Like you made a jump, and that Medusa head would come up at the exact wrong time and knock you back and fall off the edge. Oh, the thing was though is that unlike Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you could tell as you played most Nintendo games that as the difficulty ramped up, you could feel it ramping up, but that it wasn't impossible. It was just more difficult. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was just practically impossible. I have seen someone beat it now. It is possible to do so, but it is down to like pixel perfect movements in some instances to try to get past things, and it's just, why would you bother except for the challenge, I guess. Let's see. Faithless says Nuki or Nuki? Nuki, Nukie, I believe is the correct spelling. Yeah, you can look up the wonderment that is Nuki. And if you pay attention in some of the Red Letter Media best of the worst videos, you might see an entire shelf filled with copies of Nuki. Because as far as I can tell, many fans want Red Letter Media to go over Nuki. But I think only in reference have they ever gone over it. The Cinema Snob, I think, has done Nuki before. So, yeah, look it up if you're really curious about the worst ET ripoff ever. Let's see. Enoch, the Steelmaster, NES Ninja Gaiden. Is it Gaiden or Gaiden? I always said Gaiden.
I've always called it Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, Gaiden. Was my Dark Souls as a kid. Yeah,
that game. Yeah, that was fucking hard.
Yeah, and the birds. It was the birds on that one level that kept knocking me, and that was about as far as I got on the game. I had a friend who I watched beat the game, so obviously I knew it wasn't impossible. But that was tough, especially those later levels, man. If you didn't have the patterns down exactly, oh man, and have that fire. And if you lost the firestorm power, like where you could throw the flames up at an angle, because that was like the best power to use on most bosses. If you accidentally hit one of those, vases or torches or whatever and got the wrong power, like the throwing stars or whatever, and you didn't have that fire wheel or whatever you needed at the time, oh, you're done. But man, the opening to that game was always so epic to me. I just love watching the opening where the two ninjas run at each other. Games just don't. There's just something so neat and cinematic about that at the time, even though it was like an 8-bit game or whatever. But yeah. Let's see. Devil Fruits, Scribe, did you or Monkey play Dragon's Lair? The arcade version, yes. I don't think I ever had a home version of it. And
I watched the Game Grumps play through that. That shit was hilarious.
Oh man, that was and that game at the arcade was so confusing because you had to. It was a bit obscure to me when you had to move the controller and you had to do it very exactly to follow the video along. So I never got very far in it, but I watched some people. I always ended up watching people play the games at the arcade who knew what they were doing, so I didn't have to spend the money to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a couple of guys. I went to Vegas one time, a long time ago when I was a kid and couldn't do any gambling, obviously. But and their big arcade, they had the Punisher game, and I watched two guys just play through the entire game, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't pay money to watch to have to play this because I'd get so frustrated. Jack Gunsky, Scribe, as far as impeachment goes, would you rather watch Quippers United after the stream on Jack Gunsky's channel? I would rather watch Adam Schiff at a podium for 3 hours. That was a little low. Oh, I admit that was me. I apologize. Sorry. Angry Illinois saying, any of you play the Throne controller game of Battletoads? Well, I played Battletoads. The thing I never understood, this isn't Battletoads specific, but with the old NES controllers, Monkey, was it ever your experience to watch people move the controller around, like try to lift it up when they're trying to make people jump as though moving the controller was going to do some extra effort?
Sure.
Yeah. I never did that, and I never quite understood what people were doing when they were doing that. Like, wait, it's not going to make them jump higher. And then somebody got the power glove, and it's like, oh, now you can do it. But then I watched somebody, they didn't know what the power glove was, so they thought wearing the power glove meant that using the controller and moving your hand now did something. I was like, no, that's not how it works. Didn't you watch The Wizard?
No, I'm one of those people who even today, like if I'm playing a first-person shooter and I'm going around a building, if you were watching me, you'd notice me tilt my head like I can see around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, in fighting games, pressing the buttons harder makes the attack stronger.
Yes.
Well, I do remember some.
That's just science.
I do remember some games did have that kind of sensitivity. Like if you tap the button, you get a little jump, and if you held it down, you get a longer jump. So sometimes that did make sense.
Yeah, Mario games did that.
Mario games.
Madden eventually did that with passing too. The harder you throw or hold the ball or the button down, the harder you throw the ball. So But in early games, I know what Satsu's talking about there. Yeah.
Motto Winter Scribe, why the hell do you always say our good friend at CNN, Chris? No, I say our favorite friend at CNN. That bee needs to be beat a heavy stick. Ask Satsu.
What?
I don't know. Scribe, why the hell do you always say our good friend at CNN, Crystal Lizard? That bee needs to be beat a heavy stick. Ask Satsu.
I think they're saying he needs to be beat with a heavy stick, and stick is not my weapon of choice. So,
what is your weapon of choice?
You'll know if you make me angry enough.
Oh, my weapon of choice is Fat Boy Slim.
Fat Boy Slim.
Fat Boy Slim.
My weapon of choice is Guidas, who is now here hugging me.
Oh, Squeedas. Wait, your name is Squeedas is a weapon?
Yes.
Like a Care Bear stare kind of weapon?
That's right.
Okay.
I'll just hold her up.
Harvest Marvis, what are your thoughts on Trump's peace plan that the Palestinians are rioting, protesting over?
I haven't seen it. Have you?
No, I knew he was meeting with Netanyahu today, who, by the way, has now been indicted apparently on corruption charges. But I mean, if the peace plan that Trump is meeting with Netanyahu is weighted more towards Israel, I'm pretty sure the Palestinians would be upset about that no matter which way it goes.
Yep.
Because if the Palestinians aren't at the table, they can probably safely assume that whatever deal is being struck isn't in their interests. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're looking for a peace plan, though, and just having one side over to the conversation, I don't know if that's much of a peace plan. So, RJ Bands with Scribe Light. How do you circumcise a hillbilly? Kick his sister in the jaw. Oh. Pyrus Creed, thinking of upgrading my graphic card. Any suggestions for a replacement for my R9 380? Well, if I knew what that meant and I knew what graphics cards were as far as like improvement, I'd tell you, I don't know. You guys more technically inclined than I am?
I'm not sure what graphic card that is, what level.
Like
sorry,
maybe?
I'm not as up on it as I can. What I would say is look at your budget and buy the best one you can with whatever you can afford. That is always the graphic card go-to. Mm-hmm. Buy the best you can afford.
Let's see. Grizilla says, just tweeted my Greta cartoon. Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. We are not demanding zero emissions. We're demanding no emissions now. You got it. Click. I am not amused. You may not be, but we sure are. That's funny. Yeah. Turn off all the lights, guys. No more energy, no more power. No more iPhones, no more internet for Greta to tell us how virtuous she is. Frosted Glass says, so am I officially a friend of Lords of the Night now, Monkey?
You're an asshole.
You an asshole.
I love you. You're an asshole.
Friend of the show. That's the phrase you're looking for. Is that a title that people aspire to receive?
I guess so. Did you guys happen to see that clip with Joe Biden basically telling that dude to vote for somebody else?
Yeah, the guy asked him a question about what was it? Oh, I forget what it was, but he said, Joe, this, that, or the other, and he says, well, you should go vote for somebody else. Go vote for Bernie.
Wow. Yeah, he accused him of voting for Bernie because of what he was saying or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like you should vote for somebody. I saw the blurb about what it was the guy said to him, but I'm sure somebody in chat will know. Harvest Marvis. So David Schwimmer thinks Friends should be rebooted with an all-black cast since he recognizes his straight white male privilege. Thoughts? Is that true?
David Schwimmer's an idiot. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing that, but
I don't care. I didn't watch Friends the first time around, so I couldn't give a shit less. But
yes, and it'll be rife with, I'm sure, not black stereotypes and a bunch of shit that's gonna piss people off.
David Schwimmer should take his multi-millions of dollars he got from the Friends run and produce that show himself.
Yeah, go make it, dude.
That'd be probably the greatest statement of virtue he could make. Keeverdam, what's your opinion on ketchup on spaghetti and ranch on pizza?
Ketchup on spaghetti is nasty. Ranch on pizza is actually good sometimes, depending
I
on...
love ranch on pizza. Yo.
I like it on the pizza crust more than just like putting it on pizza.
Yeah, I had a chicken bacon ranch pizza one time. That was disgustingly good. Oh, it was so good.
Oh, chicken bacon ranch. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, that was good. The ketchup on spaghetti. Maybe
That's not
if
spaghetti.
yeah, it's not spaghetti. I mean, if I had no other sauce, I wouldn't use ketchup. I just eat the spaghetti by itself. Oh, hello, sweetest.
Yeah, she was just out of nowhere. She just started like slapping me in my face, and then she like grabbed my lip and dug her nails into it. So I put my hand on her face and pushed her back, and she was like, "Whoa, dude!" I'm like, "Excuse me." He was just assaulting me.
Quinn the Cultist, Scribe Light, ever watch a show called Containment? It's a show about a plague in a cordoned off section of a city. No. I did watch the movie Outbreak several times when I was younger with Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey and what was it? Oh God, I forget her name all of a sudden from Lethal Weapon 3.
Fuck! If you wouldn't have said that, I'd know her name.
I know, right? The Thomas Crown affair and shit. Why can't I remember her name? Oh, Renee Russo.
Renee Russo. Yeah. There you go.
But no, I haven't seen Containment. Let's see. Frosted Glass. Wouldn't an All Black Friends reboot be called Homies? Oh God. You get Damon Wayans in there, and like they never mention Homie the Clown directly, but you like see him doing laundry, and he's got like this big long sock that he's kind of having to take apart at one point. Doesn't say nothing. We have a request to put Squeetus on camera. If you wish to do so, Satsu, it's entirely up to you.
What's up? I'm sorry.
Oh, we have a request to put Squeetus on camera.
Oh.
You don't have to, but if you want to. Jack Unsee, Scribe Light, Satsu 2 cents. Is baby Satsu at the age yet where she has razor sharp fingernails?
Oh yeah, she scratches the shit out of us, but we clip them down to keep them contained. But yeah, she loves digging her nails in the people.
Scott Gardner says, Satsu, when are y'all getting back on Dark Souls 2? I need to catch up to you from yesterday still.
If you want to do some catching up or whatever, you can hit me up anytime and I can catch you up off stream, but I don't think we'll be streaming again until Friday. Yeah. Unless Sinatra begs me to do it Thursday.
RJ Bandsmith, thoughts on J Station paying guys to act like cops in his recent video? I don't know who J Station is.
J Station's that despicable shitbag who likes to do the seances for dead people.
Oh, that fucking asshole. Who was like, my girlfriend died. Rest in peace, my girlfriend. Doing a seance to talk to my girlfriend. Just like, what you fucking piece of shit. Hey, mama.
Mata Winter, oh Lords, whistles, tambourines, or flesh flutes?
No, thank you.
Cowbell. I need more cowbell.
I should put her on camera. She's doing the hand thing right now. I got her standing up and she's like slapping her leg.
Okay. Well, by all means. We like ourselves some leg slapping humor, I guess. I don't know.
Excuse me, so sorry.
Yeah, the show I'm watching right now on Netflix, and I recommend it to anybody else who likes like little kind of mystery procedural kind of things. Longmire, great show.
I've seen that come up, but again, it's one of the. I've told you why I haven't seen the shit. I don't watch new shit.
Well, I mean, it's not new, but it started out as a TV
It'd
show.
Be new to me.
Yeah, it started as a TV show on A&E through its first 3 seasons, I think. So all the episodes for the first 3 seasons are like exactly 44 minutes or something, and they're very good. It's a modern sort of Western mystery show kind of deal, and based on the series of books. And then A&E dropped them, and Netflix picked it up. And then for the latter 3 seasons, you've got like these hour-long episodes where everything's in there. And you see interviews with the cast. They're like, "There's all this good stuff we filmed that they cut out for commercials and time on A&E, so now we can have like full episodes and really good characters, really good storylines. I really like it. I'm just finishing up the last season right now, so if you haven't watched Longmire, give the first couple episodes a shot and see what you think." There she is, Squeetus. Oh, Squeetus.
Oh, look at the Squeetus.
Oh, you know jammies.
Yes, this is one of a kind.
Oh, little baby. Let's see. Eric Grunstatter. Worst pirate movie: Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Cutthroat Island? God. Worst pirate. I mean, between the two, Cutthroat Island. That movie is an absolute garbage fire. I mean, hell, so fun fact, there's a porno out there called Conquest, right? And if I remember correctly, or was it? Wait a second. Now there was this pirate porno, and what happened is that the Pirates of the Caribbean had closed production, but the pirate ships sets and everything were still hadn't been torn down yet, and so I think it was just called Pirates. Yeah, I think it was just a porn called Pirates. And so the porn company said, "Hey, can we use those sets before you tear them down?" And so they filmed a porno on giant $1 million professional sets for pirates, which I thought was a brilliant use of economical filmmaking.
The most expensive porn ever made.
Well, it was one of the most high quality production value pornos ever made. Let's see. Pincala driving is Jenna Jameson in her prime. Yeah, Conquest had Jenna Jameson back in the day. I was thinking about that, but no, the movie's called Pirates. They did a sequel as well, I think. I don't know if they used Pirates of the Caribbean sets on that one, but then the first one they did. Atheist Icons, I ain't ashamed to say I own that Blu-ray. You own Pirates the Blu-ray? Time to do some research, says Random American. Yep. Mr. Dax says, "Don't speak of porno while Squeetus is listening." Squeetus isn't listening.
Yeah, she can't hear you.
Squeetus not hear us. Yeah, she doesn't have headphones in. Oh, really? Tell us more, Squeetus.
I happen to agree with her.
Harvest Marvels, have you guys seen the video of Bloomberg shaking hands with a dog?
God, no.
No. But that's a trick. So, is there some inside joke I'm missing here?
No, I had no idea.
Okay. Frosted Glass says, "I accidentally bought the softcore R-rated version." Oh, well, that's sad. That's not even worth it at that point. I mean, don't get me wrong. The costumes and the sets are right up there with the Hollywood standard, but that's not nearly as exciting. Mr. Dax, Scribe Light. Okay, good. I don't think people would approve if Squeetus's first word was porn or porno. Oh, you listen. You hear her, Dad. It's going to be something awful.
It's more likely to be monkey dick than anything else.
Yeah.
Mata Winter. Oh, Lords, would you try a 3-course steak dinner of pig steak, bison steak, and buffalo steak? And no, buffalo and bison are not the same. Sure.
Buffalo and bison are the same. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I might not finish each steak in total. I might have leftovers because I don't eat all that much at meals. But yeah, sure, I'd try that. I went to this, what was it? A Brazilian barbecue place where they like come around every once in a while with all these different meats and barbecued stuff. And they just like slide it onto your plate if you don't tell them to stop. And so it was like barbecued pork and filet mignon and prime rib, just like all this stuff, and it's just all the meat in the world. I'm sure there's a Chippendales joke in there somewhere. Call the Driving Ape Man. At the time, it was the most expensive porn, budget coming in at $1 million. Scribe Light. Really? $1 million? There wasn't a porn more than that at that point? Wow. Okay. And again, they saved God knows how many millions of dollars on sets and costumes that they just borrowed from the movie studio or whatever. Harvest Marvel Scribe Light sent the Bloomberg video to all of you to MITAM. Okay, I'll take a look. Yes, please. Yes. I really want her first word to be recorded on the show somehow, just for posterity's sake.
I want her first word to be monkey. I don't care.
Yeah, there you go. She's got to talk to you first, though.
It's gonna be Squeetus.
It's gonna be monkey.
Squeetus.
You need to be chanting at your child every day, monkey, 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 monkey. Don't
That's
let other
racist.
people see you do it.
That's
Yeah,
racist.
That's racist. Mac McManx. It is funny to realize babies' brains are still developing, so they are just saying random stuff.
I just think it would be great
Yeah.
to see Satsu out in public chanting monkey at his baby and then have to explain to somebody it's because of his white friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, my white friend told me I have to do this. I don't know why.
Oh.
Hey, baby.
Gulf City says, when does Squeetus become Squinfant?
Everybody keep asking. They're like, she's not as great as anymore. She's a person. She should be called Squasshole. That should be her new name.
Oh,
She is a scoosh bag. I know. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, speaking of monkeys, she got little monkeys on her feet.
Oh, monkey jammies.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
her babies. Oh.
In honor of monkeys, she's wearing monkey jammies.
Oh, little
Aw.
poopies. That's so nice. Let's see. Frosty Glass says, people get mad when I yell monkey at black children. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God damn it.
Cody Fry, thank you so much. First words will be Squotus 2056.
No, she's going to be saying that's not it. That sounds like scrotum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mr. Dex, Lady Monkey jammies. Well, I mean, Lady Monkey does have a set of monkey pajamas I sent her for Christmas.
She
I
does.
don't know how often she actually uses them, but hey. You know.
She says they're quite warm. She wears them every now and then.
She's like, excuse
Okay.
me?
Yeah, well, I figure sending Lady Monkey and squishy things that make her comfy is always a good idea. Let's see. Was that hello? Did she say hello?
Kind of sound like she did.
Hello.
She just a kid being a baby.
Baby.
Babe.
Oh, man. Let's see. 3-minute warning, guys. Do you have any questions or anything? Put them in the chat now.
You want to be squashed for 2 cents?
And
Yeah.
over on Jack Gunsky's channel after this, you go watch Quippers United. Oh, yeah. Slapping her belly.
Mm-hmm. Say hi, baby. Say hi. Say hello. Internets.
Frosted Glass, did Lady Monkey get the lingerie I sent her?
She didn't say nothing.
Uh-oh. Yes. Let's see. By the time we get to the end of this, it'll probably be the top of the hour. So, guys, thank you so much for coming out to join us tonight, as you always do. You guys are the best audience in the world, and Squeetus is the cutest baby. Thank you, Cody Fry. Again, get your mind out of the gutter, ranting monkey.
What are you doing, girl?
I don't know if monkey can remove his brain from where.
That was my mind in the gutter.
I don't know. Just probably perpetually.
Oh, because of they keep saying that because of the SCOTUS thing.
I ain't the one who made it sound like scrotum.
Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is the best behaved in all of the internet. Everybody who's donated, thank you so much for your generosity, either on this show or any of the other episodes. Rest of the week, we appreciate all of your support. Remember, guys, tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel at the regular time. Yes, please.
Oh, it sounded like she really said hello right then. Sorry.
Yeah,
I know. Say hello.
Say hello. She's like, no, I don't speak on command.
Yeah. I'll put her on the spot. Sorry, I blanked. You guys are gaming after this?
Nope.
No.
Oh, no, not tonight. Okay. Sorry, guys. Not tonight. You can always go over to Monkey's channel. He'll probably have a monkey in the morning at some point in the middle of my night. Everybody else. It almost sounds like hello. Yeah.
Are you going to assault the mic now?
Okay. Well, with that as our exit, guys, thank you for joining us. Satsu, Monkey, thank you for joining me as always.
Bye, guys.
Squeedus, thank you for giving us your expert commentary. Appreciate it.
No problem, motherfucker.
Hey, now. Bring that around the baby. Everyone, Squeedus's life makes all of ours so much better, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye. Oh, wait. For tradition, I gotta get my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism.
Say it, sweetie. You didn't say it.
Okay, I'll close enough for horse. Moving. Okay, that's appropriate. Today's secret word is conversation.
Yeah.
All right, that's perfect.